Hello, I'm Phillip Khan-Panni of pkpcommunicators.com. Let's talk about getting people off the fence when you've made your sales pitch. A while back I was in Dubai delivering a program on cross-cultural communication, and one afternoon one of the local Brits said, "Have you been wadi bashing?" So I said, "What's that?" He told me about it, so I went. You're driven out into the desert and then the car goes up and down the sand dunes. It's all wild and scary and daring and exhilarating. So, we did that. And when we finished, we stopped by at a campsite for some refreshments. And I got into conversation with a local Arab gentleman who was sitting over there beside his camel. The camel was lying down, in that traditional camel posture with the legs tucked underneath, looking very supercilious. I was making some strange noises. So I turned to the Arab gentleman and said, "What's the matter with your camel?" He said, "Well, he's sitting on a sharp rock and it's a bit uncomfortable." So I said, "Well, why doesn't he move?" And he said, "Well, it's a big deal for a camel to get up and move somewhere else, and it's not hurting enough, so he's just content to lie there and complain." Well, you can see where I'm going with that. In most businesses, there are situations where things are not quite as they might be, and people decide that they're going to live with it because it doesn't hurt enough. And I remember the camel sometime later when I was talking to the sales director of a company which had a large sales force. The conversion rates from their sales presentations wasn't as good as it might be. And I was talking to him about how I might improve that. But he was sitting on the fence and he said, "Well, it's a numbers game, and as long as our chaps make enough presentations, we'll get enough business." So I said to him, "Every lead that is generated costs money, doesn't it?" He said, "Yes." "And every presentation costs money to deliver?" And he said, "Yes." "And every presentation that fails costs you money, doesn't it, in terms of the business that you could have had?" And he said, "Yes." So then I pulled out my wallet and I said, what if you could see what is costing you every time a sales lead is wasted? What if you could see what is costing you every time a presentation is made and fails? Because it costs you money to produce the presentation and deliver it. What if you could see what it costs you in terms of the business loss on that occasion and the business loss in the future because that relationship was not started? What if you could see all these costs? I spread the money around like that, and then I carried on talking. He wasn't listening. He couldn't keep his eyes off that money. So I stopped talking and I said, "What would you like me to do?" And he said, "Pick up the money." And I said, "Now, if that was your money, if you could see your money being wasted by presentations that aren't working, wouldn't you want someone to help you pick that money up?" And he said, "Yes." So now, what did I do? I simply intensified the pain. You know that in selling, your job is to identify the pain and point out that you can remove that pain. But the best way to remove that pain is to intensify it, raise it to the level where they say it's now hurting enough for me to do something about it. That's what I can help you to do. I'm Phillip Khan-Panni of pkpcommunicators.com, and my telephone number is 0845 165 9240.